Good morning. This is Money Markets and Motivation with Mike. And our word of the day is ardent. Ardent is enthusiastic or passionate. And from a literary standpoint, burning or glowing. So that is our word of the day. Go over to our heat map, which is quite chilly today. Palantir is up. Most everything down from big cap tech is down. Industrials, energy, utilities, and real estate are doing well today. So that is the story there. We go over to our cryptos, and we got a mixed bag there. Some are up, most of them are down. So that is our story there. Now we're going to share what we call our commercial for the day. If you're at all worried about all-time highs turning down, if you're getting close to retirement, this might be a good place to put a portion of your portfolio. It goes up when the market goes up, does not go down when the market goes down, creates an ascending base, and beats index investing by about 5% per year. So you don't want to turn your portfolio what happened in 2008 when the markets went down 54%. That's cutting everything in half. So now we're going to head over to our charts. So this is Palantir. It is up 1.6% today. I saw a new price quote around 215 is what they're targeting. So that is the story with Palantir. Go over to our indexes. NASDAQ is down about 0.74%. So a pause here would be in order. Wouldn't be too bad. Don't want to get too stretched. And here's the equal weight in the NASDAQ. Kind of holding steady right at the pivot zone, down 0.32%. The S&P 500 is down 0.63%. So pause in the S&P would not be out of the ordinary as well. And it's slightly up in the RSP, 0.04%. Nothing to write home about, but here is the Russell 2000 small cap index pulling back a little bit, 0.26. The Dow Jones is pulling back at 0.22%. Go to financials. Financials are pulling back to the 20-day moving average off a little over 0.5%. KBWB pulls back to the 10-day off 0.23%. Aerospace gaps up today. We'll look at some of the aerospace. Rocket Lab, we did put a position on in Rocket Lab today. And Archer, I believe, was the other one. Gets above its 50-day moving average. So we continue on. Here's the VIX. The VIX should be up today. And the VIX bounces off its 50-day moving average, almost up 6%. And we got a fall on the 10-year Treasury off of a little over 0.5% to 4.12% interest. And the 20-year falls as well, off a little over 1% to 3.41%. Look at our nuclear, holding steady up at the highs. Take a look at Oklo, which has really taken off. Utilities, another area that has been strong, supporting AI, up 0.41%. Communications, pulling back to the 10-day moving average. Biotech pulling back a little bit. The other biotech ETF off 0.64%. Real estate actually gets looks like a gap up there, up 0.72%. Software pulling back 1.27%. Consumer discretionary slices through the 10-day moving average. Tesla is pulling back 1.2%. And Amazon, look at that big gap down. That is off almost 3% today. Not sure what the news with Amazon is, but there you have it. Technology pulls back 1% today. Still a pretty wide gap above its 10-day moving average. So that is nothing to really fear at the moment. Infrastructure tried to move higher and then pulls back off 0.34%. Semiconductors pulling back. They tried to move higher and then pulled back today. Airlines tried to move higher. They pulled back. Consumer staples, they bounced from a huge drop here. Industrials tried to move higher and they're pulling back off 0.18%. Healthcare up ever so slightly, pretty close to flat for the day. Building materials tried to move higher and it is pulling back. And then we got home builders pull back to the 50-day moving average. Totally lost that pivot zone that they're trying to break out into. Metals and mining is up 0.47%. And finally, uranium holding steady right up there. Cameco is up slightly, up 0.5%. Take a look at Denison Mines, up 2.16. Now it's up 1.80%. So that is what's happening right there. Let us go over to adjust our screen here. Look at where the big money is flowing today. Taiwan Semiconductor gapped up 3.5%. This is where the natural pivot was. And then we had a gap up, kind of held here, built a shelf, popped out of that shelf and pulled back. And we are now heading higher. TTM Technologies, contract manufacturer printed circuit boards, gaps up out of the pivot zone, up about 3.7%. Earnings are supposed to be up 37% this year, another 13% next year. Looks like we got a double bottom here. Right in here would have been right over here would have been a good day to buy at 47.98. Did pull back to the 20-day moving average, but popped right back up. United Therapeutics gets into the pivot zone here, up 5.28%. Camtech, Israeli maker of optical inspection systems, gets into the pivot zone near the top, up 2.47%. And there we go. ACM Research gets a gap up into the profit zone, up 6.57%. Look at all this volume over here. It's just amazing. American Mobile gets pretty close to the pivot zone here, a nice move. Earnings up 243% this year. Another 16% next year, up nearly 4%. Planet Labs, satellite imagery just keeps on keeping on all the way up here. D-Wave Quantum, we got a few quantum that are continuing to surge, up 7.56% today. Pretty well extended, has gone through the profit zone. SanDisk, data storage company that has been really under some accumulation. Look at all this institutional ants buying the stock as it just keeps moving up. Baker Hughes in the oil and gas industry climbs through the pivot zone, up 3.31% today. Pretty short base here. This is SoundHound AI, a big investment from NVIDIA. Keeps moving on up. Looks like it broke through this consolidation here. Relative strength looks at a new high here. It's up 4.4% for the day. Look at all this volume in here. Look at all that blue buying volume. Its earnings are supposed to be up 99% this year. Look at that, down almost 10,000% next year. GRAL, recent IPO. Working on a base here. Early buy could be right about here as it kind of clears this area. We'll see if it comes up here and then pulls back before taking off again. There we go. Earnings are supposed to be up 81% this year. Healthcare company focuses on developing technology for early cancer detection. Rigetti Computing in the computing area, quantum computers continues to rise, up 12%, pretty well extended. Par Pacific looks like it's at the top of its pivot zone here. 35.42 is a breakout. And it looks like it's about ready to go into a new high in the relative strength line here. You could say that it had a double bottom. Right up here. It's kind of an odd shaped double bottom. So the early buy point would have been 31.38, probably right around here. So that is the story there. Can't remember if we talked about Rocket Lab. Here's Rocket Lab getting to the top of its pivot. I guess this is an odd shaped cup with a handle. As you can see, this green formation here. This is a handle, they're saying, and popped up out of it here, pulled back, and now it's getting ready to go again. Archer in the same kind of group is getting above 10, up a little over 5% today. Joby is moving as well, up 5.74%. So got some money moving into this space. INQ. Can't remember if I looked at this one. It's up a little over 4%, very well extended. This has been in the news a couple of times, BBAI. Working on the right side of its base here. Pretty lopsided base, but something you might want to look at. Baker Hughes gets to the top of its. I think we looked at this one before. It seems like the list has been rejiggered. And that is going to be all of our chart analysis for today. And we are going to now go look at our quote of the day. Comes from Leo Biscaglia. We're going through some security check on our quote of the day for some reason. I'm going to pause a second. Our security has been approved, and Leo Biscaglia, his quote of the day is "Change is the end result of all true learning." So there you have it. Hope you have a great day. Great Taco Tuesday. Go out and support your favorite taco truck. And in the meantime, if you can lift up somebody in need, whether with a quick smile or further assistance in any way, please do so. This has been Money, Markets, and Motivation with Mike. Hope you have a great day.